Now, MPs are today debating a petition that calls for the Northern Ireland Legacy Bill to be scrapped, which critics argue would pave the way for British Army veterans to be prosecuted if it becomes law. Northern Ireland veterans are holding a protest in Westminster today as we speak. To coincide with the debate, let's cross live now immediately and speak to GBNews reporter Dougie Beattie. Dougie, you're out there on the streets of Westminster. There are hundreds of veterans around you. Tell us about the mood on the ground.
Well, the mood on the ground is very angry, Martin, because these veterans served the Crown and were attacked by the IRA throughout their lives inside the Army. And one of those that's being called for is the Loch Gall, which happened on the 8th of May back in the 80s. And an SAS group actually set up an ambush for an IRA unit that was mortar bombing a police station. And one of those that was involved in that was Patrick Kelly. Now, Patrick Kelly had a checkered past, and you can't deny that he was in the IRA. And one man that definitely can't deny it is Glenn Espy. Glenn, tell us about your tale with Patrick Kelly.
I met Patrick Kelly at the end of my lane 7 weeks before the Loch Gall incident, the 19th of March. As I was pulling out left to go to Cookstown, I could see a car sitting on a driveway. The car accelerated out and I could see 3 masked terrorists in the car. It blocked my path, it straddled the white line, and before I knew, I could see the gunmen jumping out of the car. As I was trying to bring the car to a stop, my car was vibrating with the rounds hitting the car. And I can see the guys clearly. I can see the guy putting his arm up on the roof. I can see him using the door to support the weapon, a 7.62 Hector & Koch G3 assault rifle. And I can see the first rounds as it's fired. I can see the round going over the roof of the car. And as I say, the first shot come out was a puff of smoke. The weapon had obviously been well oiled and put into a deep hide. As I bringing the car to a stop and the rounds were hitting my car, I think they never expected me to do what I did. I opened the door and rolled out onto the road. Basically, my car was caught in the killing ground in the front of their vehicle. As I rolled out onto the road, I was shot through the left wrist and I run down the side of the car, jumped into the drainage ditch at the side of my car. But because the 2 cars were that close, basically when my car stopped, we were 2 car lengths apart. When I looked up the side of my car, all I could see was the boot lid of their car. So I had to crawl up the shuck using my knees because this arm was shattered. At that time, I got my own personal protection weapon out and I got up alongside of my car. I could see the gunmen. They didn't know where I'd went. They thought I was still behind the car and they're looking at my car going from one side to the other. And I'm hoping if I fire 2 or 3 quick rounds, to be honest, these boys will bugger off. All I did when I fired those 2 or 3 quick rounds, I brought the guys onto where I was in the drainage ditch and they started engaging me in the drainage ditch. One of them, the second gunman, when I returned fire, I don't know where he went to. And as this guy engaged me, and again, he was firing what we had called in the military double tap. He wasn't scattering rounds all over the place, a couple of rounds at a time. And I knew this guy had killed before because he was determined to take me out. And again, I'm never going to win the firefight with a pistol. I'm in the shock. The rounds are lifting big lumps of chunks of mud out around me. Some of them are going by my head and cutting up the ground behind me. I can hear the gunman, which is I now know to be Patrick Kelly, shouting. I don't know what he's shouting, but I can hear him shouting. And I can see the driver getting lower and lower in the car because some of my return fire is impacting around where the driver is and obviously where Paddy Kelly is. The second.
So he shot you and you got involved in a gunfight with him. The irony of this is, of course, that if you'd have killed him, you would be facing an inquiry right now.
That's probably right. If I had killed him that day, it would have been an inquiry into my actions in that day. It would have been investigated by the RUC, and obviously if I'd done anything wrong, I would have been prosecuted.
And what's happening now is these lawyers are digging up all these investigations and coming back at them and saying they're not right, even though we look at Loch Gall, they were engaged in an ambush with the police station. They were trying to mortar it. We have Glencoe, where they were attacking a police station just shortly beforehand with an anti-aircraft gun. And we have Coke, where 3 IRA men, fully armed, got into a tussle with the SAS. And do you think Hilary Benn will grant an inquest to Patrick Kelly's sister?
Well, he certainly gave Patrick Kelly's sister an undertaking that he will. And you can imagine people like myself and the veterans here today, when we see after the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, something like 200 comfort letters were handed out to IRA terrorists who allegedly were involved in something like 295 murders. So those people have got off scot-free, and they're trying to put elderly veterans in court for something that has already been investigated and done through the courts. Every round with the military was fired and was investigated.
So is this politicisation of justice?
Well, we see it as a two-tier justice system, that there's a justice for they're trying to prosecute veterans, but letting everyone else off free. And successive British governments seem to have let the veterans community down. And indeed, we can see Republicans rewriting history to suit their narrative.
Well, I thank you, sir, for your service and keeping us safe in Northern Ireland through those very bad times. I must say that was the second time this man was shot, but there is stories like this right across all these veterans behind us, and they are now pushing the government, particularly Keir Starmer, to not repeal this bill and make sure that those veterans will not face court action in Belfast.
Dougie Beattie, an astonishing story of bravery, of survival by that man of Pine. Shake that lucky hand. He survived against all of the odds. An incredible tale, and a debate in Parliament sparked by himself, and 170,000 signatures to follow. 4:30. Dougie Beattie, excellent reporting. We'll cross back to you throughout the show.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Reaction to the Legacy Bill debate. I'm joined now in the studio by the former SAS soldier, the hero, Matthew Hellier, and also the Reform UK MP for Runcorn and Helsby, Sarah Pochin, who's taking part in that parliamentary debate later on. Welcome to you both. Matthew Hellier, I'm going to start with you. We just spoke with a veteran there in Parliament Square, an astonishing interview. I know you heard it, of an RUC soldier who was caught under serious fire, machine gun fire. And I think I want people watching the show to try and understand the kind of hostility people like yourselves, armed forces veterans, faced, having to make split-second decisions. Yeah. Decades later, you could be prosecuted. Try and help our viewers to understand the sheer pressure of those moments.
Yeah, but you're right. It was the situation that British servicemen were put in. We were put in with a yellow card, which give us our rules and regulations, what we're allowed to do, rules of engagement. But we were put along streets. We were walking targets. We didn't know where the terrorists were. They had carte blanche to shoot us, bomb us. It was extremely, extremely frightening. For me, as a young man, joining the military and as a 19-year-old walking the streets of Northern Ireland, my first real contact was when one of my patrol members lost both legs. And then the 3 other members were extremely traumatised. And then we followed on with another tour where we lost 3 of our soldiers in Belfast. It was just so scary. It's, although we are trained soldiers, this is Great Britain we are patrolling. These are our people that we were told we were there to protect, and they're bombing us, they're shooting us, they're killing us, and we had no rights really to return fire. We didn't really want to return fire. We were there to bring the peace, and that was our mission, and that's really what we wanted to do. We just wanted a united Britain, and we're under the governance of the ruling parties, and that's what it was. We were just scared soldiers trying to do a job.
Can I put some footage on screen now? GBNews exclusively got this footage. No other media outlet has got this. It's CCTV footage from outside a police station, Coal Island, in 1992. On screen now, you can see footage from the police station, and a vehicle is about to come into play. You can see it emerging from the bottom right-hand side. Look, it's opening fire. It's dumping heavy artillery into a police station, and it takes off. And that vehicle was pursued by Special Forces operatives, and 4 drivers, I understand it, 4 people inside that, Matthew Hellier, were neutralised. Just show again, just the context of the hostility being faced. And let's move on now. We've got a couple of images of the weaponry that was later seized from that one vehicle. And then we've got 2 pictures now we can show. Matthew Hellier, talk us through, what is that?
What we're looking at now is a 12.7 Dushka heavy machine gun. One of these rounds will go through armour. This is an armour-piercing round. It would cause havoc to the human body and people around it. These are sophisticated weapons that is just you can't imagine the sort of definite destruction they would cause. And to have them fired at you, what we done in the Special Forces, we were reactive. We could only react to what was in front of us. There's no such thing as an ambush in the British Army. We are reactive troops. To see this being shot at you, we must do one thing. We must stop these perpetrators from causing havoc amongst the soldiers, the population and the civilians.
And in that particular instance, we could also see a rocket-powered grenade there, an RPG on the guy's shoulder. This was seized. These are terrorists. These are IRA terrorists out to cause harm and intent. Their job, in many senses, is to neutralise British soldiers. At this point, an SAS platoon unit was deployed to take out these 4 individuals. That happened, and it was later ruled that excessive force was used. And so here we are, all these years later. This is just but one incident that brings us to Parliament Square today.
Exactly, and we have the senior ranks now. They will argue this. There is not excessive force. When we're faced with a Dushka heavy machine gun and an RPG, these guys, they must be stopped. They're going to cause death and destruction.
OK, and Sarah Pochin, I'm going to bring you in now. The debate is taking part in Parliament from 4:30. You're going to speak in it. What are you going to say?
I am going to speak in it because I feel so strongly about this, Martin. The Special Forces, the British Special Forces, are the best in the world. The British people know that they do their utmost to defend us. They put their lives on the line, and they did so in the 70s in Northern Ireland. My dad served at the height of the Troubles, so for me this is a very personal issue. But I know that I am a voice for these gentlemen who would have died for us. How is it possible that a government of any political persuasion is willing to sell them down the line in order to appease the Irish government?
Do you think 170,000 people have signed this signature? There are hundreds of armed forces veterans outside right now, coming from all over the United Kingdom and beyond. Do you think the government's going to listen?
Well, if Reform was the government, this wouldn't be happening at all. I really hope it does listen, because if it doesn't, it's going to be another example of the betrayal of the British people. The petition, I helped it get over the line. I made it very clear in my stance then that the SAS motto was "Who dares wins," not "Who dares gets prosecuted." And this is what's happening. How can we possibly expect people to join the British Army, let alone be selected and put into the most dangerous situations where their lives are on the line, when they may be prosecuted for actions? And let's not forget, Martin, these brave men have 100% loyalty to their regiment, 100% loyalty to the government, and 100% loyalty to the monarch. Those are the people that are giving them the orders. They are following orders. It's what they're trained to do.
Matthew Haley, final word to you. You signed up, your compatriots signed up, for Queen and country, put in the country first. Do you think the country has forgotten that bond with you? Are we led by a parliamentary class that seems to now, all these years later, treat people like you like second-class citizens?
It seems to be that way, that they have forgotten us. They've forgotten, which side the bread is buttered on. We're there to protect the civilians. We're there to uphold the rights of the government and the British people. We're there to uphold democracy, and we need every party, not just Reform. At the moment, Reformists are really pushing this. We need every party to stand up and support British veterans.
And we know that politicians watch this show. If the Prime Minister were watching this, or his office were watching this, what would you say to Number 10?
Look at the lives that this is affecting. These are the veterans we're talking about are they're not young guys. The people that were shooting and killing those guys are now walking free. They have a bill that protects them. Our veterans do not, and they're now going to face court case after court case, which is ruining their lives, their families' lives, and it's causing havoc amongst recruitment, retention. The armed forces are not behind this bill. We need to support military veterans and armed forces.
OK, Matthew Haley, thank you very much. And Sarah Pochin, of course, we'll cover that debate as it happens in Parliament later on. Thank you both very much for coming in the studio today. Appreciate your time.